What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to show you how I have set up an automated meeting tracking system between an AI note taker and my Airtable business mastery system. So very exciting subject. If you are always getting lost in the notes or losing track of your meeting notes or just want a simpler way of automating this whole process, then this will be really cool. So stay tuned. So we're going to start off. I will share my screen. And we're going to start off in Airtable with a few buttons here. Click this and that, and bada bing, bada boom. I think you can probably see this now. Yeah, all right, here we go. So this is actually the daily view, and I have my call notes here that show any of the calls I've had as of today. I also can do the same thing in my weekly view. It'll show all of the calls recorded for the week. Or the monthly view, if I want to click into July, I can see I've had 61 call notes this month altogether. So all of these, actually I prefer, let's look at the weekly on here. So each of these calls, they contain a few key subjects on here. So we're going to let's look at this one. This is the default meeting name for any Zoom meeting is just impromptu Zoom meeting. That's anytime you send somebody a Zoom link and say, hey, let's hop on a call, it's just going to show up as that. This is a default type as a categorize me to remind myself to categorize it. So actually, this was a team call, I believe. Yep, so I'm going to list that as a team call. Now, what we have here is a summary in the notes section. We have the scheduled time. So again, impromptu Zoom meetings are just default. It defaults to 15 minutes. The actual time of this call was 35 minutes, 35.6. I also had this AI categorizer that will analyze as well and try to figure out, oh, this says it was a client call. Maybe I should look closer. Yeah, this might have been, no, this was a team call. Yeah, AI doesn't always get it exactly. So this is the summary on here of the call. This is an email follow-up generator. Now, in order to run this, I have to have a contact associated with this call. So I'll just go ahead and add my team member on here. Now I can go down here and have a button to run agent, and it's going to generate a follow-up email for this phone call. Then we have a few other things in here. If I want to associate this with a specific project or any specific fulfillment work or a certain task, I can link those things right there. Then if I want to pull the meeting action items out, I have another AI agent for that. And lastly, if I would like to create any kind of social media content out of this phone call, I have this agent here to write Facebook posts for me. And that's going to create all kinds of nice potential Facebook posts that I could edit and use however I like, with the topic and actual general idea of the post. So yeah, this is every single call that I have is automatically organized and sorted in here. If it is a client call, it's going to automatically add the client that it's associated with. So that's what happened here. It has added this client on here. Actually, if I click into the client card, I can see this takes me to their profile. And in here, actually, this is not the ideal view that I would like. I'm going to change this real fast. Click Edit Pages. Go back into, let's see, where was that? Oh, it's right here. Click this, and this, click into record details. These were not the record details I wanted to see. What I actually want is project client view. See, this gives me a completely different view of the same data. This is my client data for this particular client. Now, the reason I want to click into this is because, after I hit publish, I can actually look back and see every phone call I've ever had with this particular client just by clicking into the call notes for that particular client. So we've got them all right here. So very handy. This client's been with me for about a year now, so got a lot of call notes in there. Yeah, so it automatically organizes. A lot of these are still in the categorize me section because they were just impromptu meetings. But yeah, let me show you what this looks like on the back end. So what we're actually doing here is this whole Airtable system is connected with Zapier. Zapier is where all the magic happens here. And I'm going to zoom out so you can see this full structure here. Right here, we got, it looks a lot more complicated than it is. So let me give you the brief overview here of what this actually does. Let's zoom in a bit first. So to start off, we need a trigger. The very first step in this whole workflow is the trigger, and that trigger is a new AI summary is available for us to look at. So what this is, so you can only set one trigger from Fathom uh, to either be the AI summary, the transcript. There's a few other different options you can have. These are the trigger events: new download video, new highlight, new recording, or new transcript. So I just leave it on the summary because the summary fits into Airtable a lot better than the transcripts sometimes. But yeah, once we get the summary, our next step is this date formatter. And that is because the date with the scheduled start time is going to be this really weird kind of string of numbers that you can see in here. And that is the default for my meeting note taker, Fathom. It's going to be in UTC time, which don't ask me what that stands for. Universal Time something. It's a very standard time used by a lot of computer programs. But what this step does is I want it to be in Eastern time, and I want it to be in this format: the date, month, day, year, and hours and minutes. The reason for that is so I can put it into Airtable in a way that actually makes sense. So our next step, I also want to have a separate date formatted so that I just can have the date by itself without the time. So we have that in there as well. So once we have all the dates formatted, now we can actually start the sorting process. So the first sorting process is right here. It's going to be split based on whether there is an email associated with the call or no email associated with the call. Let's start on the no email side. If there is no email associated, which is often the case, unless this is an organized meeting that you have sent an invite to people, then this is going to be empty because it's looking for meeting invitees emails. And if it does not exist, then it goes down this path. Now we have two options for this path. You can do a lot more if you have a lot of standard types of meetings that might not have people specifically invited to them. So I have a weekly mastermind call that happens every week, and it is sorted down this path based on the name, but based on the meeting title. Meeting title contains Taiwanese Masters Weekly Live Call, because that's what that comes over as every single week whenever I complete that call. So anytime one of those calls comes through, it comes down this path. I create a Google Doc with a summary of the meeting, and I create my Airtable record, which is going to associate that call as a group call under the type, and it's going to add the actual time, the meeting duration, and the link to the call. So I can check out the full phone call through Fathom or call recording through Fathom later if I want to see that. So that's all in here. We also add the meeting notes from the Google document, the link to that in here, and that's pretty much it. The other path on here is an unknown path. If we don't have any official type of meeting title on here, we don't have any attendees listed, then it's just going to create this unknown call on here under the category of categorize me call. That's where those come from. All right, so that is that step on the no email side. Now where it gets really fun is if there are actual emails associated with the account. So that's where we come over here. If there are emails associated with the phone call or with the Zoom call, then the first thing we want to do is see if those actually exist in Airtable. So that's what we're doing here. we are searching by the email field in the table of contacts. So I have my contacts table that's going to have every contact that I have in my CRM. It's going to be in Airtable. And it's going to search for them based on their email address. If they actually have an email associated, then it's going to split down one of these different paths here. And these paths are based on the type of contact that is returned from this search contact step. So if we have a client type that's returned, it's going to go down this path. Prospect, down this path. Team, joint venture, or no match at all. If there's no email that it can find, it's just going to go down this path. So these are all pretty similar. The only one that really stands out is our client type call over here. And what this is going to do is first, it's going to create the call notes just like it does on every other step on here. It's going to create the notes with the type of call listed as client call. But it's also adding one extra step right here in contacts. We have this record ID, and it's pulling this record ID from the search step right here, where it searched Airtable to find the specific record of that client. So now this is how we get the calls over here associated with the specific contact that we want it associated with. And this is where those types come in as well. So we have all that. Then that's going to go to our next step of updating the last contact record. So this updating the last contact record step is going to be about updating the contact record with that date from the phone call, because I like to track when I've had my last calls with a client. So this is just going to update that field so that I know that the last call took place at this time. And actually, we can look in the contact here. I'll go over to Jeff's profile, and we can see last Zoom call was 7:22 at 3 p.m. Great. So that updates that field right there. Nothing else really gets updated in here. So we'll just leave that step at that point. Next couple things we have on here. I also have a shared folder available for every client where they can get into that folder and see any notes from our meetings. So this first step in Google Drive is finding that folder. So we're looking for the folder under the parent folder name of client files, and we're looking specifically for a folder name with the name of the company under the parent folder client files. So that's going to return the overall client folder, but we actually have one other step in here. We need to find the folder within that folder, because I have a meeting notes folder within my overall client folder. Otherwise, my client folder would just get filled with all these meeting notes and it would be a mess, and I don't want that. So we have a folder inside of a folder. So our next step is guarantee that we actually did find that folder. If the title exists, great, we're going to move on to the next step. So next step, we're looking for the meeting notes of that company. And once it finds that, we also use this as the parent folder, which is the folder we return from this step up here. Once that is found, it is going to create a new Google Doc with the meeting notes in it so that we can easily look in that shared folder, and the client can look in that shared folder and see their meeting notes anytime they want. And all of this happens within a few seconds of hanging up from the Zoom call. So they can immediately go in and see these meeting notes. There's a few things we could do to actually make this a bit better, even. We could actually add a notification at the end of this to notify the client whenever those meeting notes are available. Send a quick email, something like that, with a link to the folder. That's totally possible. I might add that in later. All of these automations are a work in process, so we always want to be continuing to develop and improve them any chance we get. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole system. These are all pretty similar, pretty straightforward. We just have different types of customers or different types of contacts in here. So the prospect is going to be sorted into a sales call. The team members are sorted into team calls, partner calls, and the no match is also, I believe, sorted into a partner call type. Is that what it? Oh, no, it just leaves it blank if it doesn't know. Then it's just, actually, this should be, let's change this to categorize me call, because that's actually what that should be. It should be listed. So this does need to be exact, the spelling that you use on the type, because in Airtable, this is a single select field. So in order for this to accurately work, whatever you put in this type needs to actually fit exactly with whatever is in the single select, or it's going to give you an error. And you don't want that. Errors are bad. Cool. All right, so that's all. We're just going to go ahead and publish this so that it is going to pick on that one change. And that is the full automated call system. So yeah, if this is something that you think would help your business, then reach out, leave a comment in the video, let me know what you think. I'm going to end the screen share here. There we go. Back on the big screen now. That is my full automated call system. The systems we're using there are Airtable as the organizational system, Fathom as the AI note taker, and Zapier as that glue in the middle making all the magic happen. So if you have any questions on that, then send me a message or subscribe to this video if you want more content around Airtable and automations and organizing your business. So yeah, that's all I got for now. Like and subscribe and all the stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.